this is Dena. Welcome to the Den. Well, with that reimagining coming out soon, I figured it was time to talk about A Nightmare on Elm Street. And you can't, nor would you want to, talk about A Nightmare on Elm Street without talking about this guy, Freddy Krueger. Seriously, is there any horror movie villain who is more of a badass than Freddy? Well, okay, some would say Jason, but they're wrong! Freddy, along with Jason, Chucky, Michael Myers, and Leatherface, is a horror icon. But he goes further than those characters in my mind. I think he belongs up there with Dracula and Frankenstein. Not that the Nightmare movies are necessarily as good as those, but I think that Freddy is just as memorable of a character.
Ask Mr. Firth about a summer internship. Get the stick out of your butt!
The 80s was the slasher film decade, and you couldn't go anywhere without seeing Freddy Krueger in some form or another.
Dial this number now. I've got some tales to tell. Freddy's favorite bedtime stories.
He became a cash cow for New Line Cinema, which barely existed before Nightmare on Elm Street came along, spawning 6 sequels, 7 if you include Freddy vs. Jason, and eventually he even had his own TV show. Wes Craven's inspiration for Freddy Krueger's power stemmed from several stories in the Los Angeles Times about a series of mysterious deaths. All the victims had reported recurring nightmares beforehand and died in their sleep. As for the character himself, he was inspired partly by a traumatic experience that started when he looked out a window.
I think was a drunk walking down the street. He just somehow knew I was there. And he stopped and he looked right at me and just held that. It was just scared the shit out of me.
And Freddy Krueger was born. The movie starts off with 2 aspects about Freddy that you'll be seeing again. First the glove, and then the boiler room. I thought the sheep were supposed to show up before you fell asleep. Guess she forgot to count that one. Okay, why does Freddy keep sheep in his boiler room? Inquiring minds want to know. Or not.
You okay, Tina?
Whew, just a dream.
Some dream, judging from that.
Or was it? The Freddy Corps is a little less enthusiastic in their first appearance. Interesting that they appear to be in the real world, too, but there's a reason for that. So, of course, this is one of the earlier slasher films, so it does have a few of those pesky little slasher film cliches, one of which is coming up. But first we get to meet the 4 main characters. Nightmare Girl is Tina. Tina's friend is Nancy, who we'll be seeing a lot of later. Nancy's boyfriend is Glenn. If he looks familiar, it's because he was portrayed by none other than Johnny freaking Depp, and he is so cute in this movie.
I had a hard-on this morning when I woke up.
Tina's boyfriend is Rod, who is that one character in almost every slasher film who you just can't wait to die because they are so annoying.
Hey, up yours with a twirling lawnmower.
It's okay to have one. When the entire cast is made up of them, you've got a crappy horror film on your hands. I know we're watching these because we want to see them get slashed to ribbons, but like any good movie, you have to care about the characters a little bit. Anyway, that night, Tina's parents are gone, and she's still freaked out by the nightmare, so she invites Nancy and Glenn to stay over and keep her company.
See, I got this cousin who lives near the airport. It's okay for me to stay with, right? And I got the sound effects tape from Rod. And... Hello, Mom? Listen, Ma, I gotta go. I think there's been an accident out front.
I get a kick out of this gag. It's predictable but cute.
Right. I'll call the police.
It worked like a charm.
Smooth.
But eventually the conversation goes back to Tina's nightmare.
And hearing those fingernails.
Fingernails? That's amazing you saying that. That made me remember the dream I had last night.
What'd you dream?
I dreamed about a guy in a dirty red and green sweater.
See Glenn's reaction? He never admits to it, but he had the dream too.
Oh, he scraped his fingernails along things. Actually, they were more like finger knives or something. Something he'd made himself. But they made a horrible sound. Like, scream.
Nancy, you dreamed about the same creep I did.
That's impossible.
A bunch of teenagers are alone together, so naturally there's someone lurking outside. Of course, Glenn, being the only guy around, has to investigate.
I'm gonna punch out your ugly lights, whoever you are.
Oh my god, look out, it's Freddy! Oh, it's only Rod. And that brings us to slasher film cliche number 2, the misleading jump scare. Usually it's just the cat or something, but it can be the resident dumbass too.
Oh, what's that?
Intense, huh?
I think we should get out of here.
Hey, you guys are gonna hang around, right? I mean, don't leave me alone with this lunatic. Please.
Tina sure knows how to pick 'em, doesn't she? What a lucky girl.
Glenn, not now. We're here for Tina now, not ourselves.
Right, because having a little fun while Tina isn't alone would really betray her, wouldn't it?
Morality sucks.
Ah, don't have sex! Now you're really screwed! I mean, oh, you know what I mean. Yeah, slasher films have this weird habit of punishing people for having sex. It's always that virginal plain Jane who is the sole survivor. Though really the nightmare movies don't do that too much. It's more of a Halloween and Friday the 13th thing, which makes the situation kind of funny.
When did you have a nightmare?
Guys can have nightmares too, you know.
Apparently Rod had the nightmare too. That's 4 for 4. Tina is lured outside by someone whispering her name. Meanwhile, Nancy has paid a little visit. Pretty cool effect for 1984.
Tina.
Who the hell is that?
Freddy is so much more sly in this movie. He takes a much more simplistic approach for the most part, and he just kind of creeps his way onto the scene from the darkness.
Please, God.
This is God.
I love the goofy way he runs after her. It's like he's saying, "Watch, I'll totally run like a retard and I'll still catch you." Plus, there's just something inherently disturbing about seeing someone who you just ran into in a dark alley acting this way. The running bits may seem excessive, but think of how many nightmares you've had where you're running away from something and how freaky it always is. If you can just lose yourself in the movie a little like that, it can be pretty damn scary.
Watch this.
Damn, it's not even the self-mutilation so much as those eyes.
Open the door!
Welcome to one of the most disturbing scenes in the Nightmare on Elm Street series. Seriously, 6 movies later and people were still talking about Tina's death. Well, that and a certain other scene that happens later. Of course, Rod is accused of murdering her since he was the only one in the room with her at the time.
Oh my God.
And he flees the scene, which makes him look even more guilty. Way to go.
What the hell was she doing there? She lived there.
Pretty soon we learn that Nancy's dad is the local police lieutenant and her mom is the local lush.
But I sure would like to know what the hell you were doing shacking up with 3 other kids in the middle of the night.
Rather than consoling her about her friend's death, they immediately start questioning her about being around someone like Rod. Yeah, this is totally how you handle it when your kid finds her best friend slashed to ribbons.
Nancy said they'd had a fight.
It wasn't that serious.
Maybe you don't think murder is serious.
How can you say I don't take her death seriously?
It's a wonder why Nancy didn't turn out to be the lunatic.
It was that their fights weren't that serious. She had a nightmare that someone was trying to kill her. That's why we were there, Mom. She just didn't want to sleep alone.
Nancy decides to go to school the next day, if only for the distraction, and Rod shows how not to act when you've been accused of murder.
I'm gonna hurt you. I'm not gonna hurt you. Don't look at me like I'm some fucking fruitcake or something. I'm warning you.
What did you think would happen, dumbass? Of course Nancy's dad set this all up, and he was the one following her all that time. Good police work, maybe. Bad parenting? Definitely. Nancy falls asleep in class and is lured outside of the classroom by someone whispering her name. It seems familiar somehow.
Oh God, I could be bounded in a nutshell and count myself a king of infinite space. Were it not that I...
Don't these people know that you should ignore beckoning dead people? It's what I always do. You should probably forget I said that.
Tina?
I don't know what else to say other than, damn, that's creepy.
Where's your pass?
Screw your pass.
Hey, Nancy! No running in the hallway.
I would love to see someone cosplay as this version of Freddy. Two interesting things. First, every time we see her, there's more blood on her face. Secondly, check out the badge. Even that's red and green. Of course, Nancy ends up in the boiler room. And of course, she's not alone.
Tina? Tina?
That's not Tina!
Who are you?
More self-mutilation and maniacal laughter. As much as I love how Freddy evolved and became more polished, more consistent, I guess, this early version of him is just so much more pure and raw. It makes him more unsettling somehow.
Come to Freddy.
Fortunately, Nancy's smart enough to know that sudden pain in a dream will usually trigger you to wake up.
I'll call your mother. Everything's all right now.
Yeah, I'll go straight home.
You'll need a hall pass. Back to work.
But hey, it was just a dream. Or was it? Nancy visits Rod in jail to get his side of the story.
I told you. It was dark, but I'm sure there was somebody in there, under the covers with her.
How could somebody be under the covers with you guys without you knowing about it?
How the fuck do I know? But I thought it was just another nightmare. Like the one I had the night before. There was this guy.
Only to find that he's been having the same nightmares as her.
He had knives for fingers. Do you think I did it?
No.
That night she takes a bath, which is not relaxing at all and totally wouldn't cause her to fall asleep or anything.
deep in there. You could drown, you know.
Oh, for Pete's sakes.
It happens all the time.
Wow, Mom knew what she was talking about for once. There you go, horror movies. That'll keep you awake. As long as it isn't Silent Hill. Oh yeah, I went there.
Hey!
Another fake jump scare! Only it's Glenn this time. Can't do too much jump scaring from prison, right, Rod?
God, I look 20 years old.
Shut up!
Do you believe in the boogeyman?
What's the boogeyman?
As a matter of fact, it was.
Wrong horror franchise. Anyway, after some discussion about whether dreams could be premonitions, Glenn doesn't buy it, but he agrees to help Nancy out with an experiment.
That's nothing hard or anything. I'm gonna go and look for somebody. And I want you to stand like a sort of a guard, okay? Okay?
Okay.
So Nancy falls asleep and finds herself wandering through the streets, ending up at the police station. Now, a lot of these scenes move at a very slow pace, which is not a bad thing. This movie likes to really draw out the tension in a way that the later movies don't.
I'm here.
And it's one of those things that sets it apart from the rest. But I've had to do a lot of editing for time, so if you've never seen A Nightmare on Elm Street, don't think you're getting an accurate representation here.
Nancy, help me, please. Save me from
Freddy!
You absolutely need to see the entire thing to get the full effect. That goes for most movies, really, but this is one of those where it's especially true.
This is just a dream. This isn't real. This is just a dream. He isn't real. He isn't real.
Okay, that was just awesome.
I just asked you to do one thing. Just stay awake and watch me. Just wake me up if it looked like I was having a bad dream. And what did you do, you shit?
Wow, she's a lot nicer than I would have been. So they go visit Rod at the police station and... uh-oh.
Hey!
Well, that was anticlimactic. Usually when the annoying character gets it, it's more epic than that. Then again, I don't think Rod was meant to be annoying.
The killer is still loose, you know.
After Rod's funeral, Nancy tells her parents about the real killer.
Who?
I don't know who he is. But he's burned. And he wears a weird hat.
And they have kind of an interesting reaction.
Really dirty. And he uses these knives, like giant fingernails. I don't see why you couldn't just give me a pill to keep me from dreaming.
Probably because there's no such thing as an anti-dream pill.
Doctor, what's she doing now?
So for the first and I think only time, we get to see someone having a nightmare about Freddy purely from the real world perspective.
Is she dreaming?
This'll help you sleep.
No! Oh my God, Earl! Get something!
Oh, my mistake. Apparently she was dreaming about Freddy's cat.
I brought something out from my dream.
Where did you get that?
Wow, how cool and freaky would it be if you could do that in real life?
I grabbed it off his head.
Later on, Nancy questions Mom about the hat, but she threw it away because, hey, how important could it be? She only pulled it out of a freaking dream!
It's this guy. He's after us in our dreams.
But that's just not reality, Nancy.
It's real, Mama. Feel it.
Give me that damn thing.
It even has his name written in it. Fred Krueger, Mom. Fred Krueger. Do you know who that is, Mother? Because if you do, you better tell me, because he's after me now.
Fred Krueger can't come after you, Nancy. He's dead. Believe me, I know.
You knew about him all this time? And you've been acting like it was something I made up?
It's just a nightmare.
That's enough.
So Nancy goes off and has a conversation with Glenn about people who have learned to fight off their nightmares. Pay attention, this will be on the test later.
Well, what if they meet a monster in their dreams? Then what?
They turn their back on it, take away its energy, and it disappears.
But what happens if they don't do that?
Well, then I guess those people don't wake up to tell what happens.
Great.
Booby traps and improvised anti-personnel devices? Well, what are you reading that for?
I'm into survival. See ya.
You're starting to scare me.
Nancy comes home to find the place locked up like a fortress. Damn, that was fast.
Mother! What's with the bars?
Security.
Security? Security from what?
Not from what? From home.
But Mom's had a few drinks and finally she's ready to spill it.
You want to know who Fred Krueger was? He was a filthy child murderer who killed at least 20 kids in the neighborhood.
What did you do, Mother?
A bunch of us parents tracked him down after they let him out. We found him in an old abandoned boiler room where he used to take his kids.
Go on.
We took gasoline. We poured it all around the place and made a trail of it out the door. Then lit the whole thing up and watched it burn. But he can't get you now. He's dead, honey, because Mommy killed him. So it's okay now. You can sleep.
I think you're kind of missing the point, Mom. That's right. Fred Krueger was just as evil in life as he is in death, only now he's more powerful. He's not some poor schmuck who was wrongly accused and is out for revenge. I suppose it could be said that he's getting revenge on the parents by killing their kids, but he's never shown any kind of real anger about it. He torments kids clearly because he just likes it, and he's so much better at it now. The parents who went on a witch hunt didn't create Freddy. They took something that was already terrible and, out of desperation, screwed up big time and made it much worse. This is what Nightmare on Elm Street is all about, in my opinion.
Just give me some help nailing the guy when I bring him out.
Bring him out of what?
My dream.
Anyway, that night Nancy talks Glenn into helping her, because he was such a big help the first time around.
Wait a minute. You can't bring somebody out of a dream.
If I can't, then you can all relax, because it's just a case of me being nuts.
Yeah, well, I can save you the trouble. You're nutty as a fruitcake. I love you anyway.
Aww. That's one of my brothers right there, except he would have a regular TV and a portable TV in his lap and be listening to his records.
At the same time.
Oh, I wasn't listening to the tube, Ma. Just watching. Miss Nude America's gonna be on tonight.
Well, how can you hear what she's going to say?
Who cares what she says?
Gotta appreciate his honesty. So Nancy calls Glenn a little later and, oh, big surprise, he's asleep.
Give me that. Glenn's asleep. You'll have to talk to him tomorrow.
Forget Freddy. All these kids' parents are their worst enemies.
Glenn?
The cord's cut.
What?
I'm your boyfriend now, Nancy.
My boyfriend?
Nancy, you are going to get some sleep tonight if it kills me.
Give me the key, Mother.
I can't. I don't even have it on me, see?
No way am I gonna say anything to ruin this scene. Just watch. Oof. Yeah, the parents were unwittingly making a mistake by not waking him up when Nancy called, but they didn't deserve to see that.
I haven't been upstairs yet.
The police are at the scene, and since Nancy wasn't able to get to Glenn, she knows that he's dead, and so she calls her father.
Listen, Daddy, I've got a proposition for you. Listen very carefully, please.
Nancy.
I'm gonna go and get the guy who did it. And I want you to be there to arrest him when I bring him out, okay?
Just tell me who did it. I'll go get him, baby.
Fred Krueger did it, Daddy. And only I can get him. It's my nightmare he comes to.
He agrees, probably just to shut her up, but at least he'd have someone watch the house, if only because he doesn't want Nancy to come and see what happened to Glenn. So Nancy booby-traps the house, makes peace with her mom, and goes to sleep.
Now I lay me down to sleep. I pray the Lord my soul to keep. And if I die before I wake, I pray the Lord my soul to take.
That prayer has never been more appropriate.
Countdown mode. 10 minutes and counting.
She goes downstairs and ends up in Freddy's boiler room again. Dream logic, am I right? Time is running out and she hasn't grabbed Freddy yet, but he shows up just in the nick of time.
I'm crazy.
But it was all just a dream. Or was it? That's gonna get old, isn't it? Okay, I know what I'm about to do totally isn't fair because Nightmare on Elm Street came out long before this other movie did, but I happened to see the other movie first, so sorry, I just can't help it.
Hands up!
Where are you, you little freak? You guys give up, or you're thirsty for more?
So anyway, Nancy's dad finally comes home. And they find that it's not over.
Nancy, what the hell is going on, Nancy?
He's after Mother! Daddy! What's Daddy Mother there?
It doesn't end well for Mom. But then Nancy realizes something.
I'll be there in a minute. I know you're there, Freddy.
You think you was gonna get away from me?
Remember what Glenn said earlier?
I want my mother and friends again.
What?
I take back every bit of energy I gave you. You're nothing. You're shit. God. It's bright.
It's gonna burn off sooner. It wouldn't be so bright.
Feeling better?
Oh, I feel like $1,000,000. They say you've bottomed out when you can't remember the night before. No, baby, I'm gonna stop drinking. I just don't feel like it anymore. Hi, everybody.
Believe this fog?
Oh, I believe anything is possible.
So it was all just a dream after all.
What's going on?
Or was-o! Never mind.
I'm not doing it. What's going on with the window?
So there you have it, A Nightmare on Elm Street. It's not one of my favorite movies, it's not even my favorite Nightmare on Elm Street movie, but it was an amazing film for its time, and it deserves credit for being the one that started it all. Unfortunately, the sequels didn't get off to a great start with A Nightmare on Elm Street 2, Freddy's Revenge. Oh, fail it!
No!
Okay.
Maybe later.
What?
Nothing!
Well, that's it for now. See you next time.
Look at me! I'm Dr. Zoidberg!